Well, hey, welcome everyone to another Coach Video Tip. My name's Dan Foster. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and an Executive Coach here at Building Champions. And today I'm excited to speak with my friend and fellow Executive Coach, Annette Pellinat, to really discuss a growing concern in leadership and in the workplace culture. And it's called toxic productivity. So, Annette, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Dan. I'm excited to talk about this topic.
Great. So, to set the stage, toxic productivity is the relentless just pursuit of productivity at the expense of your personal well being, relationships that you care about, and even just the quality of your work. And so, for leaders, this can often lead to burnout. And not just for themselves, but for their teams as well. So it's a critical topic because finding that healthy balance between drive and well-being, it's just essential for leadership effectiveness and really fostering a sustainable team culture. So, Annette, I'm hoping that in our conversation we can explore this whole idea of toxic productivity, what it looks like in leaders, why it happens, and just how we can avoid that so that we can have these healthier, more effective work environments. Does that sound good?
Sounds great. So
All right.
important.
Well, then let's jump in. So, Annette, why is toxic productivity, why is it becoming such a prevalent issue out there for leaders today?
Yeah, it is kind of a hot topic, and I think it's really cultural and societal expectations,
Yeah.
that demand productivity. We value the hustle, right?
Yes.
Busyness is sort of a badge of honor. You're running around meeting to meeting, back to back, and our culture encourages, sort of hyper productivity.
Hmm.
And I was reflecting on this and just thinking, think about what we're doing to children in a lot of ways, right? We are
Yes.
almost setting them up for this, conditioning them to have all the things, school, sports,
Yep.
clubs, and so on. And once you become an adult, it intensifies.
Yes.
Technology doesn't help us in this way. We're always on, right? Or
Yeah.
expected, or maybe we set that expectation for ourselves. But leaders often are, at home and doing emails and answering phone calls. So that
Yes.
feeling of always being on adds to it. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things.
It is. I'm almost feeling a little convicted because my wife turned to me on the couch last night at about 9 o'clock, and I had my laptop up, and she said, "Are you working? Because you're not supposed to be working." And I was like, "Whoop!" And I closed it, and I was like, "Thank you for the reminder." It
That's
just
great.
so easily can creep in. So that's just one example. But how have you seen it from coaching leaders and working with teams? How
Mhm.
do you see toxic productivity really just manifest itself in the day to day lives and interactions of leaders and their teams?
Yeah, it's such a great question. And I think I love the definition you put out in the
Yeah.
beginning about toxic productivity. It is really important to acknowledge productivity is important.
Yeah.
Healthy productivity is really good. Toxic productivity is something altogether different. Uh,
Yeah.
when we're focused in a healthy way, we're focused on meaningful progress, achieving goals while maintaining balance and
Yeah.
taking for reflection and celebration, right?
Yes.
But I know I started to notice something different in some clients who now I can recognize it as potentially toxic productivity.
Mm.
And that's really a different animal altogether. It's an extreme drive for output. It is prioritizing output over everything else at
Yeah.
the expense of really important things, like
Hmm.
your own health and well-being,
Yep.
like the time you might be spending with your wife on the couch watching
Yes.
TV, and
Yeah.
deflecting and focusing on something that work related. So it can affect your relationships and all the things, your
Yeah.
overall well-being. So I started to kind of dig into this, and there's a lot of literature. It is a hot topic right now. And one of the things that I quickly recognized, it's a different mindset. And we
Yep.
talk about mindset at Building Champions, right? The leadership mindset. What you think, feel, and believe
Yeah.
really determines how you show up.
Yes.
And people with this challenge, this toxic productivity focus, have a whole different mindset around it.
Mhm.
Um, your self-worth tends to be tied to your level of productivity.
Yeah.
People also struggle with feelings of shame or, again, self-worth if they have downtime, if they aren't producing, if they aren't
Mm,
focused, if they aren't involved, if they aren't back-to-back meetings, all the things.
right.
Also being really driven by external focus and demands, like what is expected of you at work or at home, rather than really identifying and connecting with your own values and the things that are most important to you. So you sacrifice those things when you are hyper focused on
Yep.
productivity. So
Yeah.
it's really very challenging, and it is different than productivity in general.
Yeah, it is. And it's, what I'm thinking of is in my own life and leadership where I've struggled with this has been times where maybe the team I'm on or the organization I'm leading maybe isn't meeting the expectations or goals that have been set for it. And so you do feel almost guilty if you are taking time for yourself because you know you're not hitting the goal. So shouldn't you be spending every waking moment that you have like trying to hit those goals and make the organization go forward? And so, but then you start to realize that if you do that, your own well-being, like you said, starts to go down, and then you don't show up good in any situation as a leader. So
Right?
let's talk a little bit about that because it's not just toxic for leaders, right? It's toxic for leaders, their teams, the organization. And so, what are some of the consequences of really, maybe embracing isn't the right word, but falling victim to this toxic productivity that you talk about?
Yeah, that is a good way of framing it because it is not a good thing.
Right.
And there's a way out of this, right?
Yeah.
I think we both already mentioned this, but for the individual leader, there can be serious consequence.
Yeah.
You can get burnt out, lose relationships or damage relationships that are important to you, your mental health and well-being, experiencing anxiety and
Yeah.
chronic stress can lead to all kinds of things, physically even, but depression, fatigue, all the things. So it is imperative that we focus on how to shift out of that. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah.
But for the teams, if you are someone who is hyper focused in this way, you may be unintentionally setting expectations for those team members
Yep.
to follow suit, right? To really match your energy around achievement here. And that can affect all the same things for those individuals. But in
Yes.
addition, the team can get less engaged.
Yep.
Retention can be an issue, and obviously their well-being. But
Yeah.
yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of ironic because as you're focusing on this intensity of achieving, you actually lose productivity. You take away from
Yep.
creativity, you take away from innovation because you are focused in such an intense way and you're not balancing so that you have the space to do the things that can help
Yeah.
you achieve in a good way.
Yeah, our teams, we say this at Building Champions, that our teams are always watching us as leaders, right? And that leaders in leadership, you have a ripple effect on everything you do and how you show up. So I love that you said that. That ripple effect, I'm inclined to always think of all the positive things that can happen from my ripple effect, but the opposite is true too. Like you just said, that ripple effect can actually be negative for teams and organizations that you're a part of if you're not careful. So
Yeah. I mean, we talk to leaders, when we talk to leaders, we say what you do matters. It's
yes,
so impactful. People are looking at what you're doing and they're responding. And, you may be very well intentioned and
yeah,
having really damaging, impact if you're not careful.
yeah. Okay, so I know there's got to be other leaders besides me that maybe struggle with this issue. So give me some practical strategies, the way I'm thinking, my mindset around this. Like, what can I do to kind of break free from that cycle of toxic productivity that for leaders?
So I'm just going to start with saying it's not necessarily as easy to fix as just focusing on time management or
Yeah.
priority management. Those tactical things can be really important and helpful.
Mhm.
But it really is a mindset shift.
Okay.
And so it starts with self-awareness. and really doing some good reflection and deciding, what are or assessing what are the stories that I'm telling myself?
Mhm.
Am I equating my self-worth to how I am delivering, to what I am delivering versus the greater impact that I want to make on the world? What is the mindset that I currently have? And really making a decision to shift that so that you can focus in a more healthy way on all the things that are important to you in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh, sorry.
No, no, keep going. Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that one of the things that we do at Building Champions, you know this well, is start our clients with a life plan.
Yes.
That is like the perfect place to start. We ask that you reflect on your life and really focus on, what are your values? What are the most important things that you hope to accomplish in your life that you
Hmm.
care to support and focus on? And then having a plan to bring more balance into your life so that you can achieve those things.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, as I said, all the tactical things like,
Yeah.
priority management, delegation is really important. Um, Putting your devices down when you get home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of those things are really important. And then I guess just scheduling time for reflection, making sure that you do. Now, it's ironic that I'm saying scheduling time to do something else, but it really is important. It's to
Yeah.
set expectation for yourself that you're going to take care of yourself and you're going to do the things, but you're going to do it in a balanced way. So maybe at the end of the week, reflecting back on the week and looking at your calendar and looking at the events that you've been participating in, does that reflect the balance that you hope to bring?
I love that. It's so good. You're scheduling time to reflect on whether everything you did is a reflection of your priorities and your values and stuff. So that's spot on. And it's so great. I love the life plan. I mean, I did it, gosh, 15 years ago now. And I update it every single quarter. I kind of do a review and look at it. And it's just such a powerful tool. So thank you for mentioning that. It's great. So
Yeah, I will just reinforce that. I say it to every client that I introduce the concept to. I did it with my coach probably 8 years ago.
uh-huh.
It transformed my life and it
Uh,
helped me achieve things that I hope to achieve and
yeah.
gave me a greater sense of clarity and what's most important to me.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, Annette, thank you so much for just shedding light on this topic. It's so important. And I think it's something that probably a lot more people struggle with than maybe we know and understand because I know toxic productivity. It's not just about improving output. It's really about creating that more sustainable, fulfilling, and just impactful way to lead, like you talked about. So if you're watching this and you want to learn more about Annette and possibly working with her, man, check out our website at buildingchampions.com. You can also follow her on LinkedIn. Annette's taking clients right now. So if you're interested in working with her, I know she'd love to have a discovery call with you and learn more about your leadership and the opportunities, as well as some of the challenges that maybe she can help you with. So, Annette, thank you once again. Great being with you.
Thanks, Dan. This was fun.
You bet. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.